Welcome back on the Good Morning Artesia radio show, and getting our last little sip of coffee here.
Yes, sir. We're running this morning.
Mr. John Ross Null, Superintendent, got your festive holiday tie today?
I do. You know, there are only so many days a year you can wear these ties, and especially as an elementary principal, back in the day, number of kids would give me a Christmas tie as a gift around this time of year, and so I've gotten quite a collection over the years, and used to when I was perhaps more festive. I hate to say that, but I would figure out how many Christmas ties I had and when I needed to start wearing them so I could get them all in, because kids would notice if you wore their tie or not. But Gene, before we get into some other stuff, I do want to take a moment just make sure there's not any misinformation out there. Last night we did send a message to junior high parents regarding a report to us of a student possibly making a comment about bringing a gun to school, and so we just wanted parents and staff to know that that concern was being addressed by school administrators and our school resource officers and looked into, and assure them that there was no reason to believe that there's any threat on campus today or any reason that students and staff are not safe at school today, and we look forward to having our kids at school today. So just wanted to make sure that was out there, because I know with anyway, just make sure there wasn't any kind of misinformation out there.
Events happen in the news across the country, and then people get concerned that something like that could happen.
Well, and absolutely, Gene, and I came in a couple of minutes late because I was on with Tom at 105. He said to tell you hello. Anyway,
why do they keep stealing my guests?
Well, it was spur of the moment, but no, you're right, Gene, and you know, it's important for people in our community, students, staff, parents, to understand that we do take anything like that extremely seriously. We do not discount or ignore anything like that, and do our due diligence to look into it and just do everything we can to make sure that our schools remain the safest place for kids.
Technology has really changed. I mean, there are detection systems in the schools now, right?
We do.
Other things that are in place to try to alert authorities if an incident happens, and there's training that the staff goes through a lot, and you have great cooperation, I'm sure, with law enforcement.
We do, and we're really fortunate here in Artesia with having not only access to our city police, the sheriff's department, but also FLETC. You know, great partners with us as well. But yeah, we've actually we're one of the first in the nation to have gunshot detection systems on all of our campuses.
Yeah, and you. Artesia schools have not shied away from community resource officers. I know that's happened in some parts of the country. You still have, I see the vehicles around town.
We do. We don't have as many as we used to, but we still certainly have a partnership with the City of Artesia Police Department, with an SRO assigned to our campuses, and then also, and I'm sorry, I forget the exact name of the program, but the police officers that are on patrol during the day, part of the expectation of them while they're on patrol is to visit campuses and actually inside the building. And so it's a really good program that they've coordinated with us on. So.
Well, that gets people, like you say, you put out a notice like that, and you're just trying to inform everybody of what's going on, and then it raises a lot of other questions. But it's another way that the school, you use the same system for all kinds of information that you get out to parents, right?
We have some different ways that we can get information out through our student information system called School Messenger, and sometimes Remind, and various ways that we can get that information out.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Well, good. Well, what else is going on?
You know, a big thing that's been in the news recently is a recommendation from the governor's office regarding salaries for school employees, and that the recommendation from the executive office, and I believe that the Secretary of Education's recommendation is going to mirror that, and that is a 7% increase for all staff. And then also looking at raising the minimum salaries for level 1 teachers to $50,000, level 2 teachers to $60,000, and level 3 teachers to $70,000. And so regarding the levels quickly, So when a teacher first starts out, bachelor's degree, their first 3 years, they have to remain at level 1. After 3 years, they can advance to level 2, still with the bachelor's degree, but by completing and going through a dossier process. And then to advance to level 3, you've got to spend 3 years at level 2. So after 6 years, you can advance to level 3, but there are only 2 ways to do that right now. And one is through having a master's degree, and then the other is by becoming National Board Certified. And we've actually entered into a partnership, not just Artesia, but several schools in the Permian Basin with the Permian Strategic Partnership, and they fund the cost for teachers to get National Board Certified. And so it's a stringent program, lots and lots of professional development and portfolios that those teachers go through, but those are the ways that a teacher can get to level 3. And so we'll see how that all shakes out during the regular session. Of course, they've got a special session going on right now, but when the regular 30-day session starts up in January, of course, we'll be following that and spending a lot of time in communication with our area legislators.
Well, let me ask you this. When the governor or anybody at the state level says, we're going to pay teachers more, where does that money come from to pay the teachers more? Does that come out of Artesia Public Schools funding? You guys have to rework your budgets. Does the state modify the funding formula? Do they throw more money in?
Really the way that impacts schools is there's a unit value that's established each year after the legislative session that's established by the Secretary of Education. And so that's the amount of money that's allocated to a district essentially per student. One student is not necessarily worth, for lack of a better term, 1 unit. A student, depending upon necessary services and things of that nature, could be worth more than 1 unit. But the legislature, in taking account the money that's available through the various revenues, including oil and gas that the state produces, and of course also that's been in the news, is New Mexico is pretty flush right now. And so that's a really, really good thing to see things rebound the way that they have. And so certainly there is money there now, I believe, to accomplish what has been recommended by the governor. Of course, there is, you've got to also look forward and do your best to predict how sustainable that is. And so anyway, through the legislative session and budgeting a certain amount of money to public schools, to firemen, policemen, all of the infrastructure, all of those various things, then as I said, the secretary will come up with a unit value, and that unit value is supposed to cover mandated pay raises and other programs that are mandated through the legislature.
Okay. Well, hopefully they'll get it right. I mean, hopefully the governor, whatever the number is that she says she wants, that the unit values will be adjusted accordingly.
Absolutely, and because our staff, our teachers are so deserving of this opportunity, and so we certainly hope that things work out as they're planned right now, but we'll be following that very closely.
Okay. Yeah, I think the legislature's in session now talking about the redistricting, but the financial session, the regular session, will be in January.
Right.
So.
Yeah, talking about redistricting, then I believe the use of their American Rescue Plan dollars.
Yes, which is an interesting topic for discussion too, because there's lots of people that want to get their hands on that money as well.
It is. I was reading this morning how much they've allocated to the different areas. So, yeah. And really, Gene, unless you have other specific questions, the other thing, just lots of exciting end of the semester holiday activities going on. Last night, of course, Zia had their winter concert at the auditorium last night, and band concert coming up on Thursday, and of course athletics are continuing. I want to thank everyone for supporting our City of Champions tournament last weekend. Teams really enjoy coming to Artesia, and they're treated really well by our community and by our athletic department and our coaches, and so that was a success. Had some good good competition. And
some good attendance.
There was good attendance. Coach Henderson and I were talking about that earlier in the week, and so it was good to see that come back.
Very good. So I guess school winter break begins here, not next week, but the week after next.
Week after. We've got the remainder of this week, and next week students and staff will dismiss on the 17th, and then staff will come back on Monday, January the 3rd for professional development, and then students will return on Tuesday, January the 4th.
Very good. Superintendent John Ross Null, thank you so much.
Appreciate you having me.
All right, we'll see you next time. All right, we're going to take